Let me also go across to some guests joining us. APSKhadial, a spokesperson of the Congress party, is with us. Arshpreet, I want to begin by understanding from you, what is the primary objection that the Congress party has to these laws? Rajiv Pandey of the BJP is also with us, but Arshpreet, starting with you, why is it that even with the tabling of the laws, and I believe that nobody in India feels that these old laws don't need any revamping or redoing. Even on sedition, there's been a lot of opinion about how, of course, it cannot go completely, but needs to be revised or revamped. So what is the criticism that is already flowing in from the Congress party and why?
Thank you. Kindly allow me 2 minutes uninterrupted, Shivani. First and foremost, if the agenda of the government was to make a few amendments, just to 1% of the criminal law, they shouldn't have revamped it in entirety. They are scrapping it all in one go and are going to start it from scratch. Now, it's almost like this example that I'm going to give. If you were to change or renovate a room in your house, you would renovate the room. You won't bring down the entire house and start reconstructing it again from scratch. That is exactly what the Bharatiya Janata Party's government is doing. Because the objective here is not reform, is not betterment of the people. The objective here is to leave an imprint on our social, cultural, legal and political aspects of the country.
Okay, but is that imprint good or bad? One second. All governments like to leave their imprint, but is that imprint good or bad? What are you suggesting is going to be bad about this?
See, what I'm suggesting is, Shivani, if the gentleman from Bharatiya Janata Party could tell us one simple thing. The amendments that you wish to make, that you wanted to change, were just 1% of the existing laws that we have. So why are you changing the 99% of it as well? Why are you scrapping it all?
Okay, let Rajiv Pandey come in here. From what I understand, it's not like every single law is changing, but the name, the terminology is changing. Some of the laws, provisions and punishments to be awarded are being added or changed. For example, community service is being looked at as a punishment for petty crimes for the first time in the Indian Penal Code. I don't think all laws will change drastically, but of course this is about bringing in more Indianness and giving them an Indian term than the British Raj era terminology. And some others like sedition, there are enhanced punishments for crimes against women, even mob lynching. Capital punishment for mob lynching. Now, this is one of those things that the opposition, especially the Congress party, has been harping on, that mob lynching needs to be recognized as a stronger crime and there should be greater deterrent to this crime. So, Rajiv Pandey, explain to us, why is it that you needed to scrap all of the existing provisions and bring in fresh provisions completely? Could you not have done some tinkering with the existing ones, as Arshpreet is saying?
Shivani, you can recollect there was a Companies Act called 1956, Companies Act 1956. It was completely revamped and in 2013, Companies Law. The same way Indian Penal Code, CRPC and Indian Evidence Act is being done. What I am suggesting, you have given 2 uninterrupted minutes to my Congress friend. He could not say one line that which law this government is bringing, which is not in the interest of the people of this country. Honorable Home Minister in the Parliament said that we are going to do this because we want to protect our kids, we want to protect our women, children. They were talking about that sedition should be removed from the IPC. That is done.
No, it's not done.
Mob lynching.
No, Rajiv Pandey, one second. It's not like what we understood to be the crime or the acts of sedition are completely being decriminalized. Of course, spreading disaffection against the country, subversive activities, separatist activities, all of that is still going to be punishable. That is what sedition is.
I am saying treason. Treason will be there. They were saying that, that charge, that will not be there where they will have the Honorable Supreme Court of India. Rajdroh and Deshdroh, there is a difference. So Rajdroh is going to be over.
So you are saying criticism of the government, which was the relic of the British Raj, that could invite punishment or at least a charge, that is going to go away. Arshpreet wanted to come in on this. Arshpreet.
No, one second. No, Shivani, let me complete.
Let him complete. Arshpreet, just let him finish for 30 seconds, then you come in.
One second. What I'm saying, all the laws which are not applicable, there are so many things that will not be there. Just give me 10 seconds uninterrupted. and what is good for the country, because mob lynching, it's a big issue in the country right now. That is added. The clear-cut definition of terrorism is added. As far as the rape and the kind of people are hiding their identity and doing all these things. So all the good things, I am just asking, let Congress party and particularly their top leadership should come and explain what are the points, what are the laws which they think it is anti-people.
Okay.
Not coming. Why you are doing this?
That's exactly the question I was going to ask.
Last line, one line, Honorable Prime Minister from the Lal Killa has said, we will erase the every case of servitude. Arey ruko yaar, you represent servitude of the
one by one, please. Okay.
I'm talking to Shivani. I'm not talking.
Ashpreet, I'll give you equal time. Don't worry. I'll come to you.
Honorable Prime Minister had said, one of the pran is erasing all traces of servitude.
Yes, colonial legacy. I get it.
And we say this and we will do it. Thank you.
Okay. So actually that is one point I wanted to add, Ashpreet, that actually as part of this revamp, some of the laws which are just no longer relevant or are not required in this era or in the Indian society are also going to go away. We'll of course need a breakdown of all of those laws. But I want to understand from you, and the fundamental question persists. For example, some of your leaders, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who's a very noted lawyer himself, he is going on to say writing provisions clearly have a communal aim with a slanted mindset. He has also gone on to criticize this overhaul exercise as an animated negative desire of leaving a Modi stamp. Now, the criticism that the Congress party and the opposition faces is, it doesn't matter what the Modi government does. You criticize it for the sake of criticism.
Shivani, thank you for the question. Kindly allow me a minute and a half uninterrupted. See, I first want to congratulate the Bharatiya Janata Party that they have woken up from their sleep of 70 long years, because back in the day, they never ever raised this issue of the so-called British criminal system that we have, that now has become their main bone of contention. Number two, you've been in the government from the last 9 long years, and today you say it was also wrong, also bad. Then why have you been a party to it by not doing anything for the last 9 years? Condemn your party, condemn your leadership. Number two, Bharatiya Janata Party is accustomed to undermining the Honorable Supreme Court. They have done it time and again. The Supreme Court said it categorically and had opined it against the sedition laws. Despite that, the Bharatiya Janata Party goes ahead and strengthens the sedition law.
No, that's not true. Ashpreet, that's not true. Let's not talk without facts. The Supreme Court said, one second, I'll give you time. The Supreme Court said the existing sedition law is vague and it is open to misuse. Now the government's contention is, and of course you will argue this in Parliament where the laws are debated, today they are being sent to a select committee, that now there is a clear definition of what is not allowed as anti-country activities, and there will be clear provisions for that. So the government is aiming to reduce that lack of clarity that the Supreme Court talked about.
Thank you. Now kindly Shivani, 60 seconds please. Number one, if the Bharatiya Janata Party really wanted to do something about sedition and they were serious about it, they were serious about reforms, then they would have ensured that there was a definition of hate speech. Till date in India, there have been so many cases registered with regards to hate speech, but nobody knows what the definition of hate speech is. This goes on to suggest and expose the double standards of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Number two, there is no comprehensive law in order to deal with the custodial torture. So the things that were supposed to be touched, that were supposed to be reformed, amended, have been left untouched by the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Fair enough. So all of that debate and discussion should now happen. But my question to you was a little bit different. Why criticize anything and everything that the government does, or say, oh, why now? Why now cannot be a criticism. Obviously, a government that comes to power cannot do everything on the first day or even in the first year. Some things will happen in the final year of the government as well. It's not like the 5th term is void. Things will happen in the last year as well. You said, why did you not do this for 9 years?
See, Shivani, the concern here is that you and the gentleman from the Bharatiya Janata Party has said a handful of things which do not even amount to the change we need vis-a-vis 1%, then why do we have to scrap the remaining 99%?
No. Those are not getting scrapped. They will come back in a different avatar.
Shivani, Just 30 seconds, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Shivani, what happens is when you, like I said, if you want to renovate a room, you renovate a room. You do not bring down the entire house and then.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give Rajiv Pandey 30 seconds to respond to that again, because I've already taken a response on that. I've taken a response on that. Let Rajiv Pandey respond on that. Why not make incremental changes is what APSKhadial is saying. More focused changes instead of, doing this rebranding exercise, because then you open yourself to the criticism that you want to make everything about the current government. You want to leave an imprint and remove everything from the past.
Shivani, the biggest reform which took place in 2016, that is IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, in which also there were 3 laws which were removed and merged. SICA Act, Companies Act, several parts. So, they can say why you are doing. I am saying IPC, if suppose that has 600 sections, all the irrelevant sections will be removed, new sections will be added, and what is the problem with the Congress party if we are making it Indian Penal Code to Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita? What is the problem? Are they worried about the Bharatiya? Are they anti-Bharatiya? What I am saying, only Shivani ji, I am saying only one thing. This, not a single criticism, my friend has stated on our channel that what wrong we have brought. We have brought about law about mob lynching. We have brought law about the hiding their real identity and framing and trying to grab women. We have brought law against the people who are trying to exploit children.
Okay.
Understand what we are. And you have added one more thing. Sedition is gone. Treason will be there. If anybody say that we will break the neck, the chicken neck, and they want to say that, you cannot be, I cannot be charged.
Of course not.
Treason and sedition are different things. So
okay, fair enough. You're making a distinction between the two, but I think that the existing Sedition Law also applied on those who were indulging in activities against the state or the integrity or the sovereignty of the country. So it overlapped. Fine. You may argue that you're bringing in more clarity. Let me go to Ashpreet once again. Ashpreet, is the trouble of the Congress party that the government is bringing in this much needed, long pending reform that you couldn't do, and they're bringing in an Indian Bharatiya Hindi name to the code instead of the British Raj English name? Your colleagues DMK is also criticizing it as recolonization, as imposition of Hindi. Is this going to be the criticism of laws?
I'll tell you what, Shivani. It's very simple. There has been no answer from the Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson to my question that the change that you needed was 1% could have been catered to.
Why time and again he's lying that it is 1%?
One second, please do not interrupt.
From where? Have you read the full act?
Please do not interrupt.
Have you read the full act? Have you read the full act?
Don't interrupt me.
You are lying on the
Hear me out, Shivani.
Okay, just hear him out, Rajiv Pandey, then you respond.
Thank you. So a handful of amendments would have sufficed. Now that they are changing it in entirety in order to leave an imprint, what will happen is, Shivani, our time, our energy, our resources, our money at an expansive level are going to be wasted, which could have been utilized for the welfare of the people.
Okay, fair enough. So now you're giving me one crystal clear argument as to why an overhaul is not desirable, because it requires resources, time and effort.
Number two,
yes.
So number 2 is, they say the objective is to ensure a speedy delivery of justice. Now, if this really would have been the objective, 2 things which I said, a definition of speech would have been there, and a comprehensive law for custodial torture would have been there, which are not. And number 3.
So please make those arguments. The law is not crystal set yet. Of course, it will go through certain changes and amendments. Once again, but you talked about speedy delivery of justice. That's not just the job of the law. I'm sorry to say, the criminal procedure and the penal code is different than the delivery of the justice system. The justice delivery system involves courts as well. You cannot just make better laws and expect better justice, Ashpreet. Yes, Rajiv Pandey wants to come in. I'll come to you.
Shivani ji, in this, I am trying to read. It's a huge thing that in the amendment, in the new act, that it will be that within 3 years all the trials should be completed.
How many amendments are you proposing?
1 second. This is not amendment. If you are not understanding,
how many changes do you propose? How many changes do you propose?
Ashpreet, not like this. Please let him finish his point.
No. He's not understanding. When new act comes, then some sections are reproduced at the same place and some are deleted. Understand? I said there are 5-6 major issues were there that is only being discussed. But I am saying once you see both the act, older act, and this is the bill right now, this is not even an act, there will be a deliberation in the standing committee, and the people like you should talk. Like, that what all you want. You are saying, I want 2 things. Maybe at the end it will be added. We don't know. I am saying, you are saying, 1 second, you are saying that 1% change is there. No, I don't think it is 1%. You will have to judge, and I am saying
how much?
All the things which is required. I have not calculated the percentage. What are you talking here? How you are behaving?
Give her.
Ashmir, I have limited time. Let him just finish. I have some questions left. Rajiv Pandey, please make your point. Please finish your point. You were talking about the 3-year limit. You think something like this will be able to bring the difference that we need for the individual at large, the person who's knocking at the doors of the police and the courts?
Problem is, the government is trying that a speedy disposal of the cases, a speedy trial.